Here in the South China Sea, legends were born on the waves. Today, we uncover the story of the woman who ruled them all, the pirate queen Zheng Shi. In the early 1800s, the South China Sea was the most dangerous trade route in Asia, a place ruled by storms, smugglers, and pirate factions fighting for power. Among the crowded harbors and floating markets lived a young woman named Shi Yang, known at the time as a courtesan in a Canton seaside brothel. But her life changed the moment she caught the attention of Zheng Shi, one of the most feared pirate captains in the region. What impressed him wasn't beauty. It was her sharp mind, negotiation skills, and fearless charisma. Instead of offering her a place in his harem, he offered something unheard of, a partnership. Together, they formed an alliance that would soon reshape every pirate fleet on the southern coast. This was the beginning of the Red Flag Fleet, the largest pirate confederation the world had ever seen. Together, Shi Yang and Zheng Shi became one of the most unusual duos of the South China Sea. Zheng Shi brought military experience and reputation. Shi Yang brought strategy, discipline, and an ability to negotiate with rivals better than any pirate lord of her time. Instead of raiding blindly, they formed alliances. They united scattered pirate clans into a single structure known as the Red Flag Fleet. Under their leadership, dozens of captains agreed to follow shared rules, share profits, and coordinate attacks across the entire coastline. Shi Yang quickly proved she was more than a symbolic partner. She managed logistics, organized supplies, planned raids, and resolved conflicts between competing factions. Pirates who once refused to take orders from anyone now listened to her carefully. By 1805, the Red Flag Fleet had grown into a massive force commanding hundreds of ships. It was no longer a pirate band, it was a floating empire, and Shi Yang was becoming its true strategist. In 1807, the fleet faced its greatest crisis. During a violent storm, the commanding leader was swept overboard, leaving the entire pirate confederation without a head. Chaos erupted immediately. Captains argued, alliances cracked, and ambitious men tried to claim control. Many insisted that a woman could never lead such a force. But the strategist who had helped build the fleet understood the moment. She knew every route, every captain, every fragile agreement. She gathered loyal supporters, secured key alliances, and confronted the loudest rivals with unwavering authority. On the flagship, in a tense council, she stated her claim clearly, and one captain after another bowed to her resolve. The fleet that teetered on the edge of collapse gained a new leader. A woman stepped forward, and the Red Flag Fleet entered a new era. Once she took command, the fleet expected chaos, but what followed shocked every captain on the South China Sea. The new leader didn't rule with fear alone, she ruled with rules. A strict code that transformed a wild pirate armada into a disciplined empire. The code demanded absolute honesty inside the fleet. Anyone who stole from the shared treasury faced immediate execution, and deals with government officials met the same fate. Trust was the backbone of survival. All captured loot had to be registered. If a fighter tried to hide even a single coin, the punishment was death. The fleet functioned like a military machine, not a band of thieves. There was also order on land. Sailors who left their post without permission were punished harshly, beaten, marked, or expelled from the fleet entirely. But the most radical rule protected women. Assaulting a captive was punishable by beheading. If a pirate wanted a relationship, he had to treat the woman with respect and marry her properly. Under this code, discipline replaced chaos. And a fleet once held together by fear became a force held together by loyalty, structure, and iron control. When the pirate fleet became too powerful to ignore, the Qing Empire moved against it. Warships patrolled the coast, officials tightened control, and a blockade cut off supplies. Many believed the fleet would collapse under imperial pressure, but its commander chose a different strategy. Instead of retreating, she sailed directly to a provincial port and demanded formal negotiations. Calm and precise, she presented bold terms. full amnesty for the entire fleet, the right to keep all wealth, and government positions for her key allies. The officials expected submission. Instead, they faced a leader who understood leverage better than any of them. Fearing a long and costly conflict, the empire accepted her demands. In one decisive meeting, she turned a criminal armada into a lawful force and secured a victory no battle could ever give. Theme: Life After Victory. The final chapter. After the negotiations, the once-feared pirate commander did something no empire expected. She stepped away from the sea. With full amnesty granted and wealth untouched, settled on land with her closest allies. The former fighters of the fleet received clothes, food, and even government work, while she built a new life far from warships and storms. For the first time in years, she lived without fear of pursuit. She managed businesses, oversaw trade, and became a respected figure in the bustling coastal communities. Her authority on the sea transformed into influence on land. While other pirate leaders were hunted down or disappeared, she ended her story on her own terms, in peace, comfort, and absolute independence. Her rise from the lowest ranks to the peak of power remains unmatched. And even after leaving the sea behind, her legend continued to grow, carried by every sailor who whispered her story across the South China Sea. Epilogue: The lasting legacy is she walked away from the sea, but the sea never forgot her. Long after her ships vanished from the horizon, sailors still whispered her name, a woman who rose from nothing and bent empires to her will. Not through fear alone, but through discipline, strategy, and unshakable purpose. Her story is more than piracy. It is a reminder that true power belongs to those who dare to rewrite their fate.